Well, a lot has happened this week. The news is buzzing. Tariffs, the stock market, a trade war. It's enough to make our heads spin. But what does this mean for us? What does this mean for you as a faith-driven Christian entrepreneur and leader? I'm going to give you 4 things to keep in mind as we settle from a pretty busy week. Number 1, keep moving forward. It's so easy to say and it's hard to do, but don't let this stop you from moving forward. Don't get lost in it. Now, think about it for a minute. The media's job, a lot of it is literally to make you scared, right? It's to make you fearful. It's to make you think twice and question yourself. And what does that do? Sometimes it makes us freeze. So get the facts, right? Take what you need with you, the things that are relevant, but don't let it stop you. Keep moving forward, because here's the thing. If the future depends on the leaders we develop today and the faith-driven businesses that we build, you don't have time. You don't have time to get lost in a spiral. So ask yourself, how can this move me to pray and keep me moving forward? Number 2, look for God. And again, it's easier said than done, but I want to tell you, it is so important for us as faith-driven entrepreneurs and leaders to sit down and ask the Lord, what do you want me to pay attention to in this? Because again, as we look at all of the different things that are happening, and I'm not saying they don't matter, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay attention to them. You should just sit and we should pray and ignore it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we need to sit down and ask the Lord, what do you want me to see in this? What do you want me to pay attention to? Because my prayer is that everything else would fade away, those things that could make me a little worried, that could make me a little scared, that I would allow the Lord to come in and make those things fade away and give me clarity on what I should focus on. Give me clarity on the things that I should pay attention to. Because then what are we doing? We're looking for God. We're not looking for the things that the world thinks are a huge deal. We're looking for the things that God says are a big deal. So that's number 2. Number 3 is stay grateful. You might not see it in the media, but you're gonna see it in your life. And so a lot of times what we have to do is we have to take a step back and really look in our own circle, in our own sphere, because you might not be able to turn on the news or open up your feed or your favorite news app or YouTube or social media and see things to be grateful for, because everybody is throwing all the concerns at us at such a rapid rate. And I really don't think that we were designed to carry all of that all the time, right? So look for ways to stay grateful, and you might have to zoom in a little bit on your own sphere and your own circle. Look at your family, look at your friends, look at your loved ones, look at your life and your daily lives. We actually have a rhythm in our family every single day where at the beginning of our homeschool day, we sit down and the girls and I write what we're grateful for. And then at the end of the day, we cap the day with things that we are grateful for and something that we want to remember from the day. And that's a way for us to stay grateful. So in this time where our heads are spinning and the news is buzzing and we're uncertain, stay grateful. And the last one is look for ways to give. And you might be thinking, what in the world are you talking about? How can I even think straight with all the things that are going on? I'm worried about my business. I'm worried about the future. I'm worried about all these things. I get that, but these things are mindsets that are going to help you navigate through it. Because again, I'm not saying ignore it. I'm not saying let's just, wall up in our homes and ignore it because then it will go away. That's not true. But these are mindsets that are going to help you keep moving forward. Sometimes we have to treat ourselves like we need to be parented, right? We have to parent ourselves. Sometimes I act like a toddler. And so I need to parent myself with these mindsets and reminding myself over and over and over again, keep moving forward, look for God, stay grateful. And the last one I want to unpack is look for ways to give. Generosity changes things really quickly. And I want to tell you a story about my youngest daughter. So our youngest daughter is 7, and in homeschool, back in January and February, we talked a lot about the fires in California. We actually have a lot of family that were right in the path of the fires in Altadena. And also I have some business colleagues who had completely lost their homes. My cousin, her child completely lost their school. It burned to the ground. Like, it was just so devastating. And I wanted to use that opportunity to call our girls to pray and for us to remember the people who were suffering and to be praying. Well, our youngest, it really impacted her a lot, and she talks about it a lot. She still does, and asks questions. And there was a day in the last few weeks where we had done bedtime and she came back upstairs. And if you're a parent, you know sometimes that's just like, oh my goodness, why are you out of bed again? But there was something in that moment where the Holy Spirit was like, just pause. And she came upstairs and she said to me, she said, Mommy, I know that it's gonna take a lot of dollars to help all the people in California, because I know that a lot of houses got burned down. A lot of people lost a lot of things. And she said, I don't have very much, but this is all the money that I have. Do you think that this would help? And it makes me emotional every time I tell the story, because she didn't go to like her little jar of tithe money. She went to her spending jar. That's the money that she could spend on herself. And she emptied it out and she brought it upstairs. And she said, I want to give it all. I want to give all of it. It was $12.25. And she said, do you think that you could get this there? And you better believe that we got it there, right? We found a way to get her money. And also it moved our family to want to donate some money to our family member's school, who's raising money to rebuild their school because they lost everything. And they're having to pivot, and try to figure out a new rhythm. And so she was so generous. And what that reminded me of is that as Christian business owners and as people who are driven to want to grow and want to build things and to make money, that's not a bad thing. Sometimes in the Christian world, it's a little awkward to talk about, like, oh, I want to make money. I want to make this amount of money, or I want to reach this goal. And I'm telling you, I will be the first one to stand alongside of you and champion you in that and say, great, go build that house. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. But it's such a great reminder of why we do what we do, because everything that we build is not for our consumption. Everything that we make, the money we make, is not all for our consumption. I think that the Lord takes delight when He sees His kids doing things that they love and that they're passionate about and getting excited about it. And when He blesses us in the way of money, it's important for us to remember that that's not all for our consumption. And so as our 7-year-old gave it all, it's a reminder for me, and I want to tell you and inspire you to look for ways to give in the midst of all the chaos and all of the worries of, especially with a trade war and tariffs and stock market. We clinch, right? Like, we want to hold on to what we have then, right? And maybe be a little bit more reserved and selfish. I'm saying no, let's look for ways to give, because it's such a powerful reminder that when we're open-handed, when we're good stewards of what God has given us, then He is so pleased and He continues to bless. And I don't mean blessing like He just gives us more and more money. Sure, maybe, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about blessings in our lives that are intangible. So I just challenge you and encourage you to remember that there's a world out there that needs Jesus. There are potential future employees out there that need to be in a business and in an environment that talks about the Lord, that encourages them in the Lord and is value-driven and faith-driven. And then you have an opportunity to exemplify that by being somebody who is generous, who looks for ways to give. So that's my challenge and encouragement for you today in the midst of all the crazy. These 4 things, these mindsets we have to tell ourselves, sometimes parent ourselves, to keep moving forward, to look for God, to stay grateful, and then to take a lesson from our 7-year-old daughter and look for ways to give and be incredibly generous. I'll see you next time.